Shula Mala says, Hello, man, you have Ezra, Mimadino, Seshman, Salitin, Amidrogla, Halian Shemrecha, Inel, Yanamation, Shomer, Israel, Adonation, Recha, and it's Yadimenecha, Yoy Mama Shamish Layaka, Baloy, Adonai, Mikolo, Yishmar, Navshecho, Adonai, Yishmar, Tisrova Yecho, Meato, Yadoilom. Let's give some tzedakah and with a prayerful wish for the redemption of all of Klal Yisrael, of all of humanity. We should already merit to be in the Beis HaMikdash with Mashiach now. Yesterday, we spoke about Mother's Day. And again, as I said, today is Mother's Day. Tomorrow will be Mother's Day again. So in honor of this Mother's Day, I'd like to continue a little bit on what I mentioned yesterday about certain women who played such a pivotal, important role in our existence. There are many, many more. Let me take just a few more. Miriam the prophetess, a little girl of 3 to 5 years old, realizes that her father and her mother are divorced. The reason why why Amram divorced his wife was because of the decree that Pharaoh made in Egypt that all firstborn boys, all boys, should be killed. So Amram says, what's the purpose of bringing children into this world if they're going to be murdered? Miriam turns around to her father and says, Pharaoh only made the decree on the boys. You are worst. You are making decree on the girls too. You divorced your mother. How do you know what you're going to have? Maybe you're going to have another daughter. And then she says, if you'll have a boy, I'll take care of him. I will protect him. Amram does so. Moshe Rabbeinu is born. After 3 months, he's put in the basket in the Nile. And Amram admonishes his daughter, what's with your prophecy? And she says, I promised I'll take care. Let me take care. She stood from far away. She saw far away that this boy is going to be the redeemer of all of Klal Yisrael. Miriam. Bruria. Basia. Pharaoh's daughter is called Basia, the daughter of God. She saves him. She gives him the name Moshe. Torah tells us a story prior to Miriam, I should say. A story with Tamar. Tamar was the daughter-in-law of Yehuda. And she created a situation where she became pregnant by Yehuda. When Yehuda saw that, he judged her unfaithful. She deserves to be burned, put to death. To protect the honor of Yehuda, she wasn't going to divulge who is the father of this child. And eventually, Moshiach is a descendant of this relationship. Yet she was willing to sacrifice her own life. We go further down in the line. The most famous convert in Judaism, the first convert in Judaism, Ruth, who was a shy and a modest woman. Her mother-in-law, the prophetess Naomi, informed her that King David would be the product of her union with Boaz. Boaz was her benefactor, and instructed her to lie down by his feet as he slept in his bed. A brazen act which was completely against her entire being. She subjected herself to personal shame, mortification, and even possible rejection by her benefactor. For what? For the benefit of the Jewish people. And indeed, Moshiach, King David, a descendant of Ruth. Same thing happened 3 generations later. Nitzevet, the mother of David, she would perform a similar task for the purpose of bringing David to the world. I don't have time to go through the whole story, but it's a fascinating story of what happened then. Chana Neviah, mother of 7 sons, urged her children to sacrifice their lives rather than worship idolatry. Bruria, Rabbi Meir's wife, changed the whole perception of Jewish thought when Rabbi Meir had an issue with adversaries, when Rabbi Meir had an issue with people who were disturbing to him and to the rest of the community, was going to curse them. Said Bruria, no, you don't curse them, you curse their actions, not them. Not the sinners should cease to exist, but the sins should cease to exist. The first person to introduce the whole concept of bringing Jewish people back into the fold, which is Mashiach's task.